Hey, everybody, can you all hear me? I just want to get that clear out. I don't know if you can all hear me or see me, but if you can, just put a little thumb up or say something on the chat there, and I'll watch for that. So hopefully you can hear me, and hopefully it's not super, super loud. Let's see. All right. Okay, perfect. Hey guys, welcome. I saw little comments there that you're watching me eat my sandwich. I don't know how to work this whole live stream thing. I'm using OBS Studio, and sorry about that, but hey, you gotta eat, So anyway, that was a little sub sandwich that my sister-in-law got for me from Firehouse. So actually quite tasty. I've never really eaten from Firehouse before, and quite enjoyed it. So hey, you guys know what Firehouse subs is. They're pretty good. And my favorite drink is Diet Dr. Pepper because it's the only diet drink that I have found that tastes as close to the original as possible. And I used to love it when I lived in Canada. Well, now that I'm in Texas, you all know about Texas. Dr. Pepper is like the state, authorized soda pop. So anyway, lots of things going on, lots of stuff. Obviously, this whole big deal with XRP and the Hinman emails getting delivered over to them. I mean, I just would love to be a fly on the wall inside that office of Stuart Alderati while they're going through those emails and documents, wouldn't you? It's going to be something none of us believed that they would ever cough these up. At least that was my estimation. I actually expected that, we would probably take this thing all the way to summary judgment before they ever cough those up or settle or something. So I guess we're going to see what happens here. Well, Bob, you're right. Artificial sweeteners aren't good for me, but hey, we all have our vices, right? Let's take a look here, see who's all on, and just give me a second to run through these because I am not really familiar with the whole live stream deal. And so as I'm trying to make like really great eye contact with you guys and just looking right into the camera there, sometimes I have to look over and just take a look at this chat box here to kind of see who's who and that type of thing because I want to acknowledge folks. So I'm just going to pop up here. All right. Hey, Nathan, I see you're up there. And Chocolate Tobler, my best bud there. Mike North, thank you for stopping in. Hey, Michael, Dadamo, if that's right, Dadamo, maybe that's how it's pronounced. Anyhow, hey, I'm glad you're here as well. Centella One, Primal Geek, Gerd Depak. Let me just see here. Just on Joker's Wild. Thank you guys for coming in, MS. Oh yeah, you're the one that said, "Hey, sounds delicious." Now, could you guys just hear me eat my sandwich, or could you see me eating that sandwich? I'd like to see that. Now I saw that, Gary, that you're from. Let me just take a look here. You were saying that you're Finnish, and it's pronounced Kari. I think that's right, Kari. So, hey, welcome. Peter Pan, welcome. Hey, Ridewold, I am so glad you made it because I enjoyed that dialogue. Look, as you guys know, at the end of every video, I drop that line in there. Hey, if there's anything that I said that you disagree with, you drop that down in the comments. And of course, if there's anything I left out, you can drop that down there as well. Because, guys, I absolutely do not mind if someone has a different opinion than what I have. The personal attack stuff where you're trying to shoot one another down, that I don't like. But hey, debate, hey, that's perfect. And so I enjoyed that. I'm going to read a wold. Maybe that's how it's pronounced. I enjoyed that. Let's take a look down here and make sure that now Brad, I don't know, Brad from Thousand Oaks, California. And I have family actually out in Torrance, California, Inglewood, California. Now, Thousand Oaks is a great spot. Torrance is kind of between Palos Verdes and Redondo Beach. It's kind of that little bedroom community, beach city kind of deal. A lot of people call it Borance because, well, in comparison to who it's sandwiched between, there's not much exciting going on, you know. Lawrence, welcome, Lawrence. And John, one of my absolute greatest supporters, John Filius. I really appreciate you, man. You've been such an encouragement to me. I just want to give you a lot of thanks and just say that it's been a lot. And of course, Chocolate Tobler, you've been just a great support to me as well. You've been one of my first 3 subs, so I'm so glad you're still around. Butch Kyleman from St. Clair, Michigan. Hey, is it getting cold up there, Butch? Because, you know, I know you're a lot further north, and being that we're getting closer to the end of October, beginning of November, I'm thinking that winter is on its way up there. Oh, Michael, don't worry about that. We all owe the IRS something. I owe the IRS, that's for sure. Let's take a look. Oliver Rees, good to have you in the house. I don't know if I mentioned Mike North yet. Remember, there's lots of folks here with similar names, so forgive me if I pass you over. I don't really mean to do that at all. Andy Gabriel. Hey, welcome, brother. Here's one I saw. Determined to... Now, I'm determined to FI. I'm not sure what that means. Determined to FI. Hey, welcome anyway. I'm trying to kind of figure it out. It's kind of like one of those bumper stumpers, some of these names, you know. So, Michael XDC, glad you're around. Kodakor, perfect. Glad to see you there. Scott Steele there. Let's take a look. Go down. And Zaitin Gozlum. I think I pronounced that correct. Hello. So I hope I got everybody. If I didn't get you, look, as we go through the live stream and you have question in there and I'm able to jump on and see it, that would be great. Oh, hey, that's really precious. Thank you so much for that, Zaytin Gozum. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Florida and North Carolina. You know, I've haven't been to either state, and I do plan on going. I've been to a lot of the western states and Midwest states, but some of the places in the United States that I absolutely gotta see. Definitely, I want to go down there to the Florida Panhandle for sure, and I want to get over to see the Capitol and see all the monuments and stuff like that. And I haven't been, I believe Mount Rushmore's in South Dakota, and I haven't been there, and I definitely want to see that. I have seen the Grand Canyon, of course. I have been out to see all kinds of stuff like, you know, all the oceans and jazz like that. Oh, and I have got to see the Statue of Liberty. Now, something about that that's quite interesting. Judy and I, a couple years back, we went over and did like a vacation in Europe. And, you know, we went to Venice, Rome, London, Paris, all that kind of stuff. And you know how close it is, those of you who live overseas. And you can kind of do so much in such a short span of time. Well, while we were on a river cruise there, we saw the duplicate of the Statue of Liberty. And it was really something to see. And I can't wait to see the one sitting out there. I think it's on, is it on Staten Island? I believe it is. I'm not absolutely sure. But needless to say, I know it's outside of New York, and I hope to get down there to see it. Minnesota, yeah, we have lots of friends up there in Minnesota, Marcus, that are ranchers, cattle ranchers, actually. So great spot. All right. So guys, as we go through this, like I say, you throw your questions up there. I don't care what they are. I will do my very, very best to just kind of answer what I know. And if I don't know, hey, I'll say I don't know. And maybe somebody else on the chat does know, and we can kind of get an answer from them. But it can be about anything. It can be about, you know, this space. Hey, Salamander, thank you, bro. It can be about the space here. You know, in terms of different ecosystems and stuff like that. We can talk about, you know, how you would, you know, plan your entry and exit strategies, which, by the way, very, very important to have that already cemented in before we hit our bull run. And guys, let me just say this about that. I know there's a lot of folks out there that are just, they look at this space and they think, you know, it just hasn't happened fast enough or whatever like that. And they think because it's just been such a long period, like over a year, that we've been in this bear market, that there's never going to be another bull market. I'm telling you, nothing can be further from the truth. When Judy and I were getting into this space, it was actually out of a kind of a situation of desperation. So the whole sea dump happened, right? And I was working for the government of Canada at that time. And I worked for the government of Canada for over 25 years. Now, my job there, I worked in aggressive tax planning. I worked in underground economy. I worked in special enforcement. I trained field officers and investigators, and we would do payroll audits and all kinds of stuff like that. And I had a lot of exposure to a lot of these different things. Now, having said that, I knew that we were coming out around that time in Canada with a COVID emergency response benefit that folks would be eligible for. And I was looking at that and I'm thinking, the little bit of savings that Judy and I have is probably going to get eaten up in inflation, right? Because, of course, all this free money. And by the way, 12 million people in Canada availed themselves of that CERB, they called it, that COVID emergency response benefit. And there's only 36 million people in Canada. And so you're talking about 12 million people getting about $2,000 a month for a period of about 6 months. And so I was looking at it like my purchasing power is going to get decimated on my savings. So living in Vancouver, Canada at the time, I went out and I looked to buy physical gold and silver bullion, traditional hedge against inflation. You know what, guys? I could find almost none. There was one dealer I found. He had 17 ounces of silver. Now, a full tube of silver in Canada is 25 ounces. And he only had 17 out of all the dealers that are here. And at that time, I think silver was trading around, $12, $14 an ounce. So it wasn't really that much. Well, I came home and Judy had been watching YouTube. And this YouTuber comes on, he's selling this course on blockchain. Now, I knew about Bitcoin, but because, like I said, when Bitcoin first came out, remember, it was, special enforcement and all that underground economy stuff. Well, we were teaching folks that Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, right? Store of value, medium of exchange, all those kind of features of money, that it was primarily being used by tax cheats, by drug dealers, and by pedophiles. So you just stayed away from it, of course. Well, I take this course with Judy that she found online. We paid about $250 for it, and my eyes were opened. I learned about blockchain like I had never learned before. And so I started investing, and we put in mid 5 figures, right? And that just literally ballooned. We saw such appreciation that those 5 figures, they turned into 7 figures and some. Now, when it hit some of the tops, I didn't sell all. I sold half. And so with that half, well, I retired 10 years earlier. We came down here to Texas. I ended up furnishing this whole big house with, all the furniture and stuff like that. And by the way, that's my daughter, Christina, going up the stairs. And hey, is it Il from Greece? Good to see you there. Well, needless to say, that had a massive impact. Now, I did that in that big sea dump. And of course, folks were around waiting for the next moon. Well, the next year, it happened. And for those of you that are getting in right now, I'm telling you, for me, it feels just like that. It's almost like deja vu. And I just cannot be as enthusiastic or excited enough. Look, the enthusiasm you see, guys, is because I experienced that. I experienced those life-changing gains, and it made such an impact in my life, and I'm passing that on. That is genuine up there. I am not being paid to show one thing. And furthermore, all of the coins that I talk about on this channel are ones that I am personally invested with. And there's guys on this live chat with us right now that were a part of a very, very tight Discord. We only had 34 members in it, about 30, 34. And they're still with me, and they know because we rode it all up together, and it was an amazing ride. And I'm telling you, the day's going to come when you're going to watch this roller coaster go click, 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 all the way up. And we're going to see some amazing gains. Now, that's what I believe, but I believe it because I experienced it. It is not just hopium. It is real enthusiasm. I hope you get that. So, yeah. And, there's some famous quotes out there. One of them by Warren Buffett, and he basically says this. He says, the markets are a tool. And he was primarily talking about the stock market, but this can be said about all markets. The markets are a tool to literally transfer wealth from the impatient to the patient. And that is so, so true. Just see yourself 5 years down the road, right? And I don't know if you've all seen that little clip about Greg Schwoon, who had the 1,500 Bitcoin that I think he bought it at 8 cents and he sold it at 30 cents. So he made hundreds of percents in profit there. Really a great trade. And then he was bemoaning the fact that it was $8 in 2011. Well, if he had sold 90% and only kept 170 Bitcoin at the top, it would have been worth $5 million. Just like, I think, 9 years later, 10 years later, 5 million. You have to have that long-term focus. So I want to encourage you that are just kind of like, oh my gosh, is this ever? It is. And look, I also get this. A lot of us are hurting. A lot of people are feeling a lot of pain, and they're taking out what they have and what they can risk, afford to lose, and they're investing it in this space. And they've got some goals and they've got some hope. And yeah, when you're struggling like that, you want it to happen a whole lot sooner than, waiting a long time. But you got to look at it this way. What an opportunity to accumulate. At least that's how I look at it. Now, this is not financial advice. This is my 2 cents. I hope you get that. I really want you to get that sentiment that I'm sharing you with what I really feel in here. So let me now go back to some of the comments because I don't want to miss out on stuff here. Let's see. Okay, I see folks talking about XDC. Do you guys have any questions that you want me to answer about any of these? XDC, one of my favorite and biggest bags, by the way. Love XDC. Yeah. Nathan, that's right. Jackson YouTube video, yep. Yeah, November 2022. Yep. A lot of them, all of with these ISO messaging standards in Europe and around the world, a lot of them are coming online in November of this year. And then, of course, you got FedWire in 2023. And then the United States is going to be, going live by 2025. Now, I believe my thinking there is the reason that is because the world reserve currency status. All right, so let's see here. MS, can you foresee any reason as to why we would be able to sell XRP, why we wouldn't be able to sell XRP in the future? For example, would the government say it's illegal to sell it and or ban it? I've heard that bandied about, the whole, thing that happened like with Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933 and saying, hey, look, no Americans can own gold, da, 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 da. But I don't think they're going to bring that kind of thing into this space. Now, I'll tell you why. This is a global market. And it's not the same as bullion, right? Because bullion being, back then it wasn't a big ETF deal, exchange traded funds. It was most people that had physical, Well, what were you going to do? Jump on a boat and sail overseas and sell it somewhere there or what? No, you weren't. Well, here we have DEXs, right? We have swaps. Even on our wallets, we can swap this stuff. So, hey, if they ban me from selling my XRP, well, I'll swap it to Ethereum and sell that. You know what I mean? So it would kind of be a moot point for them to do that. Now, that's just my thinking, and I don't think that they're going to, and if they did say, oh, well, you have to turn it all in, da, 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 then you know what? Back when they did that for gold, they paid them something like $30 an ounce. I think it was $30 an ounce. Then after it was all in, they redid it and gold was worth $40 an ounce, right? So let's say they do this. You go in and they say, okay, we're going to give you $30 for every XRP, right? $30 for XRP, considering when we were picking it up, is an amazing gain, even if they bring it all into house for them and then afterwards they sell it for $42. Well, I'm just saying, I think that the ratio will be commensurate, very close. They're not going to make you sell it to the government for $20 and then the next 3 weeks it's worth $2,000. I don't think that they'd have an outright outcry going on if that happened, and I don't think they will do it that way if they do it at all. So Renee is asking, how many projects am I invested in? I keep it to 10. Now, I do that personally for me. There are literally thousands out there that you can be invested in. And hey, look, I missed some great opportunities that I was invested in early. So I was invested in Theta. Let me see if I can't turn down the mic so it doesn't seem too reverberating there. Okay, how's that? That better? Sound better? Okay. So I was invested in Theta, and I was also invested in Zilliqa, quite early. And, I ended up trading out of those to get into some of these other bags. So I have a portfolio that I have 10. And if I was to go through it, let me just see here. I'm going to try to do this alphabetically. So I'm into ADA. I'm into Algorand, Polkadot, Hedera Hashgraph, Chainlink, VeChain, of course, XLM, XRP, XDC. I hold Songbird, different ones like that. So, and of course, I've gotten a lot that have, just been airdropped to me. I mean that, and some of these airdrops, talk about valuation and free money. Unbelievable. Hey, how many people were around using Uniswap when that Uni drop came in? It was big money. A lot of people are, it's like they're just handing out $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 worth of value to people just by virtue of the fact that they used the Uniswap deck. So kind of amazing, this space when it comes to airdrops. Hey, Jake from the state. Hello. How are you doing? Okay, so how do I stake my XRP coming from somewhat small, non-progressive island nation? Okay, now this is the deal, Sanderson Martin, with respect to staking XRP. Now, XRP, as many know, is a consensus algorithm, and it's not necessarily a proof of stake blockchain, and so it doesn't have a native staking application. But of course, you can go into a lot of these liquidity pools who are offering various APIs, and you can stake it there. Now, for me, I kind of have stayed away from a lot of that. And if I'm looking for staking, then I'll look at ADA, I'll look at another, Algorand and other staking. And the reason for that is this. A lot of folks that I know were into Voyager and into Celsius. And even though they seemed like very strong, projects and that type of thing, they were exposed to some huge vulnerabilities. And I think it all started with that whole Terra Luna thing. And it ended up that, they've gone insolvent and through restructuring, and folks lost access to their portfolios. And so for me, if I'm going to stake it, I want to be able to stake it and hold on to my private keys where I'm not giving up all of my, control, as it were, over my crypto. And a lot of these APIs that'll give you double-digit APIs, they want you to put your crypto in their hands. And to me, that's a very risky deal depending on where they are. Hey, Scott, thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so you're asking me a question here. Would you tell us what would you spend and how much on if you had 10 million in the bank to spend on crypto right now or private? Wow, that's a very good question. So I am a big believer in diversification. Absolutely. Now, I invested in primarily this digital asset space because of what I see coming forward in the future. And there's a lot more risk in this digital asset space, of course, than there are in traditional markets. But that volatility, it actually gives us the potential for these life-changing gains. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm going to tell you what I would do. This is me. It's only my personal opinion. Please take it as that, because I can't give you financial advice. Say, yep, you got to do this one. You got to do that one. But if I was investing $10 million today, now I would invest percentage-wise, probably I would invest something like 30% of that into digital assets. The other 60% I would be breaking up, and I'd be probably investing in a lot of a lot of stocks that are looking forward to some of these sustainable development issues. Even though I don't agree with this, and I really don't, but the reality is there's going to be a market out there for these synthetic foods. It's going to be big, big, big. Another thing that's going to be a big market, I believe, is going to be the corporate farming. The corporations that are traded, that are in this global farming initiatives, those ones as well. And then of course, I'd probably take the remainder and I would look at, farmland as for real estate. It wouldn't be commercial real estate, but I would look at farmland. I would look at agricultural real estate, things like that. But if you want specifically, because I don't think you said specifically on blockchain, but that is how I probably do it. Now, for private equity, yeah, you know what? I would have to step back a bit there. There are a couple private equities of, obviously I'd be buying Ripple private equity off a Link2, and I'd probably also be getting into PolySign. Those are the two big ones that I would probably get into. I hope that answered your question there, Scott. Now let me go back. I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anybody else's question. All right. Now, Salamander was asking, should not, but I have now. He has about, 775,000 XDC, and he's a true believer in ISO. Well, hey, Salamander, that's a pretty great size bag, I'd say. Now, I am personally not one that throws my bag numbers out there kind of deal. I understand why you're doing it. I know it's not a boasting thing. You're just kind of saying, hey, this is how much I believe in the space. I think that's great. But, it's there's always risk in there for, maybe bad actors to kind of like say, oh, okay, let's see if we can't figure out who this guy is. And, I always want to be careful there. That's just my thinking, I want to make sure I haven't missed anybody else's question there. No, I don't see that now. Let me take a look. Yeah, we answered Delilah that buyback theory. Let me just take a look and see, because, that's the whole point of this, is for me to give you thanks and appreciation, guys. I really have enjoyed you so much, and it is great. And Chocolate, I agree. This Flare ecosystem, guy, is going to be something else. The way in which you're going to be able to interact with this decentralized finance space in Flare and Flare Finance, truly amazing. And I even have to remember, and I forgot already, that I have my Songbird that I have to claim those gains and wrap them back up and put them back in and that kind of thing. If you ever can remember to do the discipline of that, you'll see compounding rewards. It will be truly amazing. Look, I want to give you an example. When I was buying ADA at 4 cents in that last bear market, and, I bought like a big chunk of it, and I staked those. And as bought more, I staked more. And as the price appreciated, my staking rewards started to come in. You know what? My staking rewards gained me 200% more than my original investment. It was absolutely phenomenal. And so every dime of profit that I took out of ADA, and I sold half at the top there, cost me not a dime. Can you even believe that? Truly amazing. So staking and, utilizing these definance things. Now, remember, your staking rewards are like dividends. You have to claim them as income on your taxes. And so make sure you have a good tax program to do that, which of course I do. But it was just amazing. Amazing. Yep, I agree. I think ADA is just the tortoise and ETH is the hare. They've rushed through this thing and, trying to push it out. And look at what Ethereum is still bottlenecked even after 2.0. Now, I'm not poo-pooing on Ethereum because, look, they have one of the biggest and strongest ecosystems. And with the smart contracts, yeah, it's out there. But I think you're right. I think that what you're going to see is Cardano, which to me is the really only competition to Ethereum, slowly win this race by taking little steps, small at a time, and doing it right the first time. I mean, guys, they have been up for over 5 years, and not one dropped transaction. Absolutely phenomenal when you think about Cardano, because look at Solana. As good as Solana is, they have had some big hiccups and downtime. We all know that. Now, will they iron out the kinks? I think they probably will. But look, you've got to give Cardano the credit that they're due, even though Hoskinson's being a bit of a turkey when it comes to this whole ETHgate thing and poo-pooing on the XRP army. I think that's kind of foolish on his part, but needless to say, Cardano as an ecosystem has done some amazing stuff. Let me just take a look here. Okay. How would I diversify, for example, a 5K portfolio? All right. Well, you know what? I would probably, choose 3. If I only had 5K to invest, look, I don't want to be so diversified that I've spread the butter so thin that I can't even taste it, right? And I think sometimes that's a danger. We don't want to miss out on anything, so we invest in everything. And as a result, when we do see gains, we take our 20 bucks turns into 200 bucks. Oh, well, I can buy a bicycle, right? But what we want to do is, if I had 5K, now this is me, this is how I would divide that 5K. I would look at these ISO 222 tokens, and for sure I'd be investing in XRP. Probably I would take 40% of that right off the top, and I would invest that in XRP. 40 to 50% in XRP right now. Now, if the settlement goes through and XRP pumps, that's going to change, because I think a lot of the ROI is going to be missed if you're not getting in it at a low rate like you are now. But I would do that. If it was today, I would take 40, 50%, put that into XRP. Okay. The other 50%, I would probably take 25% of that, and I would probably put let me do it. Yeah, I'd take the 25%, and the other 25%, I would be putting in Hedera Hashgraph. Now, that is me, because I look at who owns and operates Hedera and what they're doing, and I think you're going to see some major appreciation in Hedera Hashgraph. Right now, the remaining 25%, I might break that up, and I might put like 10 to 12% in XLM. And then I would probably take the remaining amount and put that into Algorand. Now, that's how I do it. You're only managing about 3 or 4 digital assets there on your $5,000, but you've put yourself in a position, diversified wise, that you could see some real potential gains. Look, XRP alone, give it to you this way. So if I took out of that 5,000, if I take 50%, put 2,500 into XRP, and XRP does, a 100x, which it's certainly possible to do, because I saw 100x's in VeChain, ADA, and different ones. You're talking about your 2,500 being worth 250,000, right, on a 100x return, right, or something like that. And so that's what I experienced. I put in a few $1,000s into some of these, and I watched it turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars of value. And for me, of course, at that time, we didn't think in May of 2021, May of 2021, that, for the altcoins, that was going to be the peak and it was going to decline from there. We were expecting to see more appreciation up towards December. Well, we didn't get that. So I ended up selling half, thinking, hey, this other half could still move. And you know what, guys? I am so glad I did. Even on the half that I have kept in, I am up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of percent, 900% on Cardano. I'm up almost 400-500% on VeChain. Even in this bear market, who's going to cry over those kind of gains? In the traditional market, you would literally be dancing in the streets naked for those kind of gains. Hope that helps. Yeah. Okay, Primal Geek says, I got into crypto through the Brave browser. They paid me monthly in BAT, basic attention. Yeah, and I started looking at crypto. Interesting way to enter this space. That's kind of cool. Yeah, BAT, a lot of people thought BAT was going to really appreciate it. Didn't see the move that it could have got, but I think it's going to have its day in the sun for sure. Hey Renee, do you have, before you take off, do you have any quick question that I could get roll off my tongue in a minute or two? I'll let you post it in there, and I'll give you an answer, because I know folks can't all stay on as long as some of the others can. All right, okay, I'll just leave that there. So guys, those are my thoughts when it comes to diversifying. Now, the one thing I want to really point out that is so ignored in this space, and you might have seen it in a few of my videos, and Rydewald, I know that we had discussed this, is the world money supply. The world money supply is something that I think all of us need to have on our radar, because it is so fundamental when you think of this space and where we're going in the future, and how the whole global economy, stocks, debt, you name it, is going to be tokenized. And what that's going to do to this space is going to be mind-boggling. And so in the world money supply, you are looking at literally trillions and trillions of dollars of value. And there, when you consider the whole cryptocurrency market, what we're just a little bit shy of that $1 trillion market cap. Well, guys, just defense spending alone is in the multiple tens of trillions of dollars. The stock market is valued at $89.2 trillion, and this is as of 2020, not even 2022. And then you've got the derivative market that the notional value is somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 quadrillion. I mean, just think about that. And when you think about all that value, how many, sectors would have to move into this space to see a 10x, 100x, 1000x, even a 10,000? Not as much as what most folks think. And when you get that grasp and you look at that, we're in this financial digital revolution. It's like being in the industrial revolution and the invention of the steam engine. It is going to catapult society way further ahead, 200-300 years ahead into the future. It is going to be truly phenomenal. And that's where you and I are. Look, when you think of the Rockefellers, they had the foresight to get into oil drilling way back there in the late 1800s. Everyone else is running off to California and the Yukon for gold, and these guys are drilling oil. Well, I'll tell you what, boy, did they see something coming, because the next century turned them into absolute billionaires. In fact, I think John D. Rockefeller was the world's first billionaire and amazing philanthropist. Now, I don't agree with all the Bilderberg philosophy and all that stuff that they have kind of going on in the background. But the fact of the matter is this: the decisions that those guys made way back then benefited their children, their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, their great-great-grandchildren, their great-great-great-grandchildren. Look, some of you watching me today, your great-great-grandchildren, should Jesus tarry, are going to be the biggest benefactors of the decisions you're making today. I genuinely believe that. So let me just take a look here. Yes, Big Red, the only exchange that you can buy XRP in the United States without providing KYC is Uphold. But you can swap it. You're not really purchasing it. If you're using your credit card and you're utilizing Exodus and converting it through Cash App or different things like that, that is more of a swapping mechanism. That's not an exchange. And another thing too, you can get your XRP on KuCoin if you're willing to buy it in small increments, because I think KuCoin, if you buy under $1,000, they don't even require KYC. So you can do it that way. But if you have to supply KYC to a lot of these exchanges, they're just not going to sell it to you. But Uphold, you can get it on Uphold. They're the only exchange that I know in the United States that allows it. Because, of course, you can't get it on Coinbase. You can't get it on Kraken. You can't get it on Binance US and even Binance International unless you're using a VPN. And if they catch you doing that, they'll lock you right out. Well, that's kind of the situation that we're in. Let me just see here. But you're right. There are different mechanisms where you can get it, but Uphold is the only exchange. So just to be clear, there are different mechanisms, to be sure. But you want to see this. Look at the fees you're paying for to utilize those mechanisms as well, because you can also swap it through your Ledger Nano. You can swap, let's say, Ethereum for XRP or whatever. But I'm telling you, the fee structure, big. It's like double digits. It's crazy. All right, let's take a look here. You know what, Bullish Barber? I 100% hear you. I totally get it. I would talk to people about crypto and they'd look at me cross-eyed as if I was a numbskull and thought, oh, you're just going to lose it all, until I started to come in and I would show them, hey, I invested this. And I remember literally sitting down with different folks and saying, my portfolio is at 100,000. Well, now it's at 3. Now it's at this. They could not even believe it themselves until they got to the point, well, hold on, if this guy's getting rich, I want to, But by then, a lot of the big moves have already happened. And then, of course, they buy high and then they poo-poo it all and get mad because it dropped, when you were telling them way back there when it was like pre-settlement on XRP, and all these people that are coming and saying, XRP is never going to hit this price, that price, whatever. Well, who are they to know the absolute future? Look, I would rather look forward with some optimism than look forward with a whole bunch of dread and dreary pessimism. And when I look at this ecosystem and you think about this, XRP is literally, I mean, it is mind boggling what they're absolutely doing in the marketplace. Hey, you know what? While we're on this live stream, why don't I add something here to this? And I'm going to set up a new scene, a quick scene here. And I'm going to add something and we can watch this together because I just think this is fantastic. It's just something amazing. So let me just see if I can do this. I am not a big technical guy when it comes to all this stuff. I've learned to kind of move my way around a bit, but let me just see if I can't find what I'm looking for here. And see if I can find this thing here. I had captured and see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, this is the one that I want. Okay, I'm not gonna loop it, but okay, look, I am going to throw this video up and then we'll come right back to the chat here. So let's watch this together and
why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. 2 former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. 2 former Clinton and Obama advisors, former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany, former business director at Swift, former Swift board member, former CFO of PayPal, former head of the DTCC, former chief business officer at Uber, former VP of Amazon, and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple. Now, does Ripple and XRP sound like they're going to disappear, or do they sound like they're part of a much bigger plan? You decide.
So, hey, what did you think about that? Pretty awesome, eh? Like when you see what XRP is involved in and who they are, if you were looking at a traditional stock and you were just doing fundamental analysis, I'm telling you what, you would be all over this. All over it. Absolutely zero doubt. And when you think about it from risk reward. Now for me, yeah, there's risk involved. I get it. There's risk. And that's why it's vitally important to know your risk, right? But the thing is, for me, I'm looking at it, hey, I can go without a few steak dinners and invest into XRP or whatever. And down the road, I'm telling you, I really genuinely believe if a person could hold 10,000 XRP, which today would cost you what? Just under 5K. So if you could have 10,000 XRP, I really genuinely believe XRP has the ability to hit 3 digits. Now, this is my opinion, and 10,000 XRP at $100 is $1 million. That's what I'm talking about, guys. I genuinely believe it, but that's me. Hey, not everyone has to agree with that, but I just think there's too many fundamentals to ignore. I don't know what y'all think, but that's what I think. So, hey. Yeah, that's right, Jeff. If you don't get it after that, you really never will. I think there's just people out there that just hate XRP, period, because of the whole back in the day banker coin. And another thing about this space that I find truly amazing, because, I wasn't very familiar with this whole digital asset space, this crypto space, until I got in back there in 2020. But one of the big things that I absolutely find amazing is the whole polarization of camps, right? So if you're with ADA, well, excuse me, you're a Cardano samurai. If you're with XRP, you're on the XRP army. And the worst of all are the Bitcoin maxis. There's nobody else but, right? Just look at Max Kaiser and those guys. But the reality is, look, why can't we as investors look at these things strategically and try to set ourselves up with a lifelong portfolio as if we're trying to build a really great 401k? That's exactly what anyone would do. But in this space, you get people on here leaving comments that are just absolutely amazing. I've never seen comments like that thrown or bandied about in stocks. You know what they talk about mostly? They're talking about potential ROIs and, whether the strength of this is that, and then they talk about maybe the management teams and or the dividends, or if there's any stripping going on, or, if that, they talk about the strategy and strategic things like that. But in this space, it's all hype and emotion. And that just shows you just how potential that the manipulators in this market, which by the way, guys, is not retail. Come on, let's not kid ourselves. Retail is not the manipulators, and they call it the Wall Street cheat sheet for a reason. It is not the Main Street cheat sheet. We have got to be, in their minds, probably the biggest emotional gold mine they ever struck. Why? Because people in this space, man, you just have to pull a thread, forget about a string, and then they're dancing their tune. I mean, it's just amazing. You got to have steeled emotions. Know what you hold. And look, be prepared. Hey, look, I'm willing to ride this pony right to the very end. And if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. That's it. But I'm not going to get shaken out because somebody's put a little fear in my spine. No way. And that's why I'm doing these videos, not because I'm just a shiller and that nobody's paying me dime one, by the way. Oh, and I want to say something else. I was having a little discussion with one of the guys on the chat there, and his big deal was, well, it can't get to those valuations because I encouraged him to watch my tokenomics video there where I go over world money supply. Well, when he realized he couldn't win the argument, he started to shoot at me a little personally and say, well, I know that YouTube pays you. And so, you're going to get more. And I'm like, buddy, the deal is this. I'll tell you guys, if you were to add up the hours that are invested in doing the videos, it probably works out to like 10 cents an hour. That is a true fact. And on top of that, I take a good portion of it and I like to bless people with. Now, I'm sharing that with you guys. So, because I want you to know, I have personal skin in the game. Nobody's paying me to come out and shill XRP, XLM, XDC, Algorand, Hedera Hashgraph. I hold every one of these and I believe in these ecosystems. And you can ask, look, I'm going to throw it out there. Chocolate Tobler and I have been friends for a good while. And we were there together watching these things ride up. And I'm telling you, there's folks out there that know me by name and can tell you this is the real deal. And I have this enthusiasm because I lived it. And I know it can happen again. And I can feel it. It's almost like it's in the wind, And we don't have to be rocket scientists to see that. What goes down comes up. What goes up comes down. And as they say, bulls go up the stairs. Takes a little while to get up there. But when we get up there, way up high like that, what happens? Bears come out the window. It drops fast. So you got to know your entry and your exits. All right. So let's take a look there. I just want to make sure, hey, we're not into this, stuff here, this whole adult dating site stuff. Like, I don't know how, guys, if any of you know how to get rid of these kind of comments, I just think that's, it's sad. It's sad that you got these folks coming in, dropping that kind of baloney on us when we're doing a live stream. And shame on them. Shame on them. But hey, look, I'm stronger than that. That doesn't tempt me, man. I have a beautiful woman living at home, a great wife, gorgeous, kind, compassionate, sincere, and my heart is hers. I'll tell you that right now. That's almost empty. All right, let's take a look here. Yes, I do, Oliver Reese. I do have videos on exit strategy. Now, if you go to my channel, you're going to look for a title called A Cut Above the Crowd. And in that video, I talk about both entry and exit strategy for sure. Yeah, I don't know how to do it, Heather. I don't even know like how to put a mod and all that kind of stuff in there. I go in there every day. By the way, I read every comment and I personally try to respond to those comments, and I will do it for as long as I can do it. Obviously, if the channel just explodes, I'm going to be the same guy. Just know that. I'll probably have more of these live streams at those moments so folks can reach out. We can have, this one-on-one dialogue. But as long as I can, I'll go in there and I will respond personally to all the emails. I'll write out my thoughts, and sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short, sometimes just a little smiley face or something like that. But just know I read them all and I value them all. And that's why we're doing this live stream. I'm not planning on doing a live stream every Saturday kind of thing. We did one about a week ago for the folks that had voted to do it at 10 a.m. But I got so much response back that, hey, I missed it. I would have liked to have come, that I thought, hey, it's only fair. Let me throw this out there for 3 p.m. so folks in UK and other parts of the world or whatever, folks that missed it last time could get on and enjoy it together for this one. And I want to give you guys equal amount of time. And by the way, if Judy was here, I'd have her come in and say hello like we did last time. But she's out with her sister today. And so they're out doing some shopping and stuff together. So having fun. And, I just want to put that out there. All right. Okay, so someone's asking, Oliver, you're asking, do you stake on Ledger Live app or somewhere else? Well, for my Cardano, I hold it on my Ledger. Okay, and I actually stake it in a stake pool off Ledger. But I have control of those private keys, and so I still feel fairly secure about that. Algo is staked, just by holding it on your Ledger, you're going to get your staking rewards for Algo. You just go in and claim them. Any of the other ones like that I can stake, I do it. I try to do it through my Ledger if I can. Yeah, I know, jokers. We're going to have to figure something out there. Okay, love the stream. Thank you, Jake. Hey, Jake from the state. What state is it? All right. Let me just take a look here. Mitch, I'm happy to do it. You know what? When I got into this space, I had lots of experience in the financial world and working with international business corps and things like that. But believe it or not, when it came to this space, I knew next to nothing. I only knew a little bit about Bitcoin, and I knew its uses in the underground economy. And that's about all I knew, to be completely honest. And I had to learn it all. So he says State Farm. So is that, well, that's Tobler saying it's State Farm, but maybe. No, I don't have any thoughts on Alchemix token. I don't hold any. So a lot of times folks will ask me, by the way, it's a good segue. A lot of times folks will ask me if I'll review certain projects for them. And in those cases, yeah, I do. I look at them. But in order to give you an honest kind of like opinion on them, I have to go in and do some really deep dives. And my big issue right now is my time. And I don't want to come off as uncaring or not really giving that consideration, but time is a big deal. I mean, doing the 2 videos that I do, and then I have my responsibilities with my family, and normally on the weekends I reserve that for family time. But, you guys are now becoming part of that extended family. And so I want to give you some time here on the weekend too. But needless to say, I do look at them and I'll do a cursory review. And if it's something that interests me, then I might go a little bit deeper, but I would really have to take a look at it. So I don't have many thoughts on ones that I don't hold right now. And that's just so I can be authentic with you guys rather than have an opinion on everything and not being able to really give you some solid stuff on the things I know a little bit more about. Wow, that the Greek. So 10,000 H bar or 1K XRP. You know what? In the short term, I'll say this. I'll throw it out there. In the short term, if I had to choose between 10K H bar and 1K XRP, I'd buy the 1K XRP. Why? In the short term, I think if this thing settles, you're going to watch XRP fly. And then what I might do is I might take some of the ROI that I get off of that. This is my personal opinion, not financial advice. I would go and I would convert some of those gains into purchasing the H bar. Now, that's what I would do. Doesn't mean H bar is not going to have its takeoff time too, because I believe it definitely will. But with the spring-loaded settlement system that we're looking at with XRP right now, that's kind of my take on that one. Let's see. Yes, H bar will be massive. I agree with that 100%. 100%. You know, now, like I said, it's just a short-term trade for me would be the 1K XRP. But long-term, yeah, I'll be holding on to H bar, boy. Absolutely. I have a pretty good sized bag H bar, actually. Don't know anything about that, Mr. Mezzo. Don't know anything about GCME. So like I was saying earlier, I have to go and take a good look at those before I could really tell you what I might think about them. Otherwise, I'm just being disingenuous and just kind of like, placating. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to give somebody an honest opinion about something, So like, someone could say, oh, what do you think about, Marie Callender's pies? Well, if I just say, oh yeah, I think they're great, they're fabulous, da 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 da, but I've never had one, then I'm just being, kind of like, really disingenuous. I got to go over to Marie Callender's. I got to sit down there. I got to, order different ones, maybe lemon meringue, pumpkin, da 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 da, taste it and see, hey, is this any better than that? If I'm going to give it an honest critique. So when you guys are asking me ones that I don't know nothing about, I can't give you any kind of a thing about them. So Sanderson, I am more than hyped about this settlement. You better believe it. You better believe it. I'm more than hyped, absolutely. When will XLM skyrocket? Well, I'll tell you what. If XRP gets settled right quick and it flies off, I think what you're going to see is you're going to see XRP, linking XLM onto its engine. XLM might be the caboose, but I do think it'll pick up. I'll tell you what. This settlement with XRP is not just going to benefit XRP. I think it's going to be the launching pad for the biggest bull run that this digital asset space has ever happened. Why? Because I think a lot of folks that are not vested in it are going to find out about this Ripple on XRP, and they are going to pummel all in, and then they're going to become aware of all these other ones, and they think, wow, maybe this one will take off like XRP, and they're going to FOMO into that one and FOMO, and that's what I genuinely believe. That's how herd mentality works. Look, over there in Europe right now, they're advertising Ripple all over the place in subway stations and airports and on and on and on. Well, ask yourself this, guys. Who is Ripple's customers primarily? Well, big global banks and central banks in helping them to develop their CBDCs and cross-border payment situations with that. So why are they advertising to the general public? Ask yourself that question. You don't advertise to people who are not going to have exposure to your products. That tells me volumes and volumes that they're putting this in the subways where the rank and file are coming up out of those subways, going into downtown to do their day-to-day work. Well, they're exposing them to Ripple for a reason, because it is going to go mainstream big time now. That's my opinion. And Flare, I think, is going to drop when this case gets absolutely settled. And in all honesty, we have had so many dates. Oh yeah, it's coming then, and next month, and next month. And you know that's all where they've gotten a little bit of feelers out there, and it looks like a settlement's going to happen. Then discussions break down. Now that's what I think, because they just pushed it all along until, of course, the Ripple settles, right? And that whole settlement. Then you're going to see literally practically the day later, or maybe even the same day that the settlement happens, Flare is going to drop right then and there. You can almost bet your bottom dollar. That's my opinion. That's right. 10K XRP or XDC? Oh, that's not even a question for me right now. Like I said, I would be going into the XRP in the short term. Absolutely, for sure. And of course, XDC, one of my favorites. Heck, look at the appreciations in XDC. All-time low at what? 0.0003, something like that. All-time high in 20, and that was in 2018. 2 years later, it was trading at 19 cents. You're talking about like a few $1,000 turning somebody into a millionaire. I mean, that is just crazy money. That's life-changing gains. And look, think of it like this. Is it a generational gain when, you know, you're doing this, you're 30, 40, you got another 10, 15 years on the mortgage on your house, you paid that off. Your kids that are just graduating from high school, well, hey son, I can now send you, hey sweetheart, I can now send you to this really great university. You don't have to go to the community college like what we were thinking. Those are life-changing things that have huge impact. Hey, just getting out of debt alone. By the way, if you can be debt-free, you are literally in that top 10%. Man, you're way ahead of the game. Most people are underwater big time on their mortgage, on their cars, on their credit cards, on and on and on. And so just being debt-free is a game changer, and a big one for sure. All right, so let's take a look. Like I said, I think, hey, a rising tide raises all ships. So Mark Dublin's asking, will the settlement affect XDC? You better believe it. I think this settlement, like I said, with XRP is going to shoot off one of the biggest bull runs in this entire digital asset space that we have ever seen. It's going to be the catalyst for it. And I think they all know it. It's not just going to be XRP. They're all going to benefit. Now, XRP is going to be the market leader, to be sure. Hey, Zep from the UK. Wow, welcome. So I heard that they kind of had a cabinetary coup over there, and it seems to be like that. We were really hoping you'd get somebody really strong in there. But it seems like you got this whole Euro agenda going down, and after Liz Truss there resigned. But man, come on. You know, she wasn't a strong PM, and of course history will show that being the shortest prime minister in the history of the UK, that's something else. You know, I have really had thoughts about that ASMR, about the European Central Bank launching target payment system. And by the way, target payment system is just an enhanced version of RTGS. And they flipped that switch November 21st. It's going to have impacts, no doubt about it. You know, not sure what you mean by BTTC. Because I'm not familiar with that token. So, you know, I can look it up, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I understand. You know what, the geek about BitBoy, I mean, look, it can be infuriating when, you know, and I mean, the guy lost his control, you know, he lost his emotions there. But the reality is that a lot of times people get poked, and there's people out there that are taking shots at human beings. Yeah, you got to remember, yeah, we're out there giving our 2 cents, and we don't expect, hey, look, I don't expect everybody to agree with me. I think anybody, that's almost naive to think you're going to come on, have a YouTube channel, and everyone's going to be your favorite brother or sister, and they're all going to agree with you. And I think BitBoy gets that for sure. But he's getting targeted for things that, look, he's said some things and this and that and whatever, but, you know, he's been good for this space as far as I'm concerned. And when you look at SBF, you know, and Brian Armstrong, and if they're placating to all these big wigs, you know, on Wall Street and this and that, they're really selling the rest of us down the river. And as far as I'm concerned, they deserve to get a little bit of, of a rebuke. Now, the way that he did it, yeah, he was off the chain, but I think he was probably poked a little, you know, and sometimes that hurts. And so, you know, they poke him, they poke his family, they do this, they do that, you know, and he's got to go out there, you know, fist flying, because, you know, you've got to be able to show that, look, I'm not going to be steamrolled over. Now, you know, I think if he had done that with a little bit more decorum, then he might have got a greater audience, but I certainly understand what motivated him to do it, at least, you know, that's my opinion on it. Not that I agree with all of it, but still. He definitely went off the wall, no doubt about it, but, you know, Hey, and look, he likes a lot of the tokens we like, and he doesn't like a lot of the ones that we like, and so I mean, let him be him. Let him have his, let him be himself. I love that. I love the fact. Look, we all don't want people out there that look like us, right? Because we want that variety. There's an adventure in it. There's something stimulating about it. If everyone gets on YouTube and we're all the same, then you're just watching the same show over and over and over and over and over. There's part of this is entertainment, not that we're just out here to entertain. Because look, I want you to enjoy these programs, but it's not about just entertaining. I'm trying to awaken a great many people to the potential of what's coming into the future so lives can be changed. Their lives can be changed. Now, look, not everybody is going to agree. And I've learned so long ago in my life, and I'm sure many of you have as well, if you can talk someone into it, someone else can come along and talk them right out of it. That is the fact, Jack. And it's just, you put it out there, you do it with as much genuine authenticity as you can, and let folks decide where they are going to fall on the issue. Don't try to be out there hoping is the wrong word, because you do hope that you'll be able to win folks over. That's true. And be a lie to say you don't want that. But don't let that be your primary motive. Your primary motive there is to share the information with as genuinely and as professionally as you can, and hopefully some sticks, right? It's kind of like when you go out to the field here. And you go out into your field and you plant, all the various crops. And you're hoping to get a bumper crop out. But the only part that you really have control over is the planting and the watering, right? You plant the seed, the idea, the thought, the philosophy, and then you water it. And some is going to grow and some isn't. Sometimes, hey, you're going to get folks that are going to get eaten up by all the insects. Some of your plants are going to die. And there's a lot of people that are just going to get so discouraged by all the naysayers that they're just going to drop out. And then others are going to say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to hang on. And, that's just how it is in life, right? Yeah, Jake, you're right. You're right. It's because everyday people's eyes are lost and think we're crazy. And, I remember back in the day, my son telling me about Facebook. And I'm thinking, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Who would want to share all their family photos with people they don't know and their birthdays and take pictures of all their meals and what they had for dinner last night? No. That's never going to fly. Boy, was I ever wrong. I'm replaying from the beginning. Has it stopped? So guys, I'm kind of confused. Has the live stream, is it still going live, or are you guys seeing a repeat from the beginning, or is that just what they've I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. Can you tell us what you think the XRP price will be? Okay, yeah, for sure. Now, I can't nail it to the, no one can. Hey, trying to call the tops and the bottoms is extremely difficult in this space. And a lot of times you're using, technical analysis to do it. Now, let's remember, almost all TA is theory, right? Okay, thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. I was kind of confused by that comment there. So, technical analysis, like I say, is all theory based, right? Elliott wave theory, Fibonacci. It's all theory. Now, I, in the beginning, used to do a little bit of TA on the channel, but I just got away from it because, number one, I do TA for me, and I can do some decent TA that I think is really great. But I don't want people making investment decisions, swings, because, there is still a percentage out there that, hey, that TA might not pan out. But there's some great TA guys out there. What? Blockchain Backer. Fantastic guy. Great TA. He was disagreed with when he was calling the top of Bitcoin, and he turned out to be right. And that was a big call on his part, but he stuck to his guns, and I have to have respect for that. And then there's another one, CoinsKid seems to have a really great handle on technical analysis. So now let's get back to, and Dark Defender. Another great TA guy. So let's look back at that question. What do I think the price will be? Well, I think initially after a settlement, you're probably going to see a big pump. And to me, I wouldn't doubt it if we literally saw $6, $7, even into $10 to $13. It is possible there. Now, there are folks out there, I've reported this, it's absolutely true, that are calling for after settlement like a $27 XRP, which would be absolutely phenomenal. Do I think XRP is going to get into 20, 30, 40, $50? Absolutely. I think it's going to take time. Do I think a 3-digit XRP is possible? I certainly do. Down the road, do I think a 4-figure XRP is possible? Yes, I do. And it is somewhere down the line. Now, maybe take a decade or longer. I don't know. But we could someday see a 5-figure XRP. Now, I don't think those numbers, those high numbers, are coming, within the next bull run. I think the next bull run, look at it this way. If XRP duplicated the fractal that it did in 2017, when it hit its all-time high of $3.84, you will be seeing a three-figure XRP if it does that same fractal. Now, my guess is we're probably most definitely going to see a $20 to $30, $40 XRP. It's going to be within that $20 to $40 range. That's my belief. In the bull run, in the big bull run, that's what I think you'll see. So, and that's my opinion. Those are just my 2 cents. Look, I could be wrong. And that is something, guys, look, don't base all your decisions just on what I think. Now, I think these things for a reason. I think of them because they're not going to pull them out of the air. I've done my research. I've done my due diligence. We have that video there where you see how connected Ripple is and all the fundamental analysis and those 4 things that I look at. For those that haven't seen, I look at real world utility. What problem are they seeking to solve right now? And there we got some more Tinder stuff. Guys, please don't let that stuff affect you, man. It poisons the mind. It really poisons the soul. But okay, so let's get back. So we got, real world utility would be my first one. Then you got your management team. That's the other thing I look at. Then I take a look at strategic partnerships globally and how big and how tied those are and how vital they are. Then I look at price action, both prior and future. And I make my decision on those things. Those are the things. Now, I have FOMO'd into stuff, and boy, have I lived to regret it. And when I've done that, it's only because I've kind of walked away from my 4 disciplines, and I apply these things all the time. So when I say I think XRP could hit those numbers, it's because I've employed this, and from my perspective and my opinion on that, doing that analysis and my due diligence, I've made that decision. So I'm encouraging you guys, develop your own system. You can use mine if you like, but use it. Go out there and do your research and then come to your conclusions. Yes, I'm giving you my opinion, but that's what it is. It's my opinion based on what I've discovered. And you might be able to add to that, glean from others, and do your own research and then make a decision. That's what I would encourage you to do. I don't know how to do it, man. I'm trying to click on these guys and kick them out of the chat, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to do that. I'm not that technical, and I don't want to end up kicking the wrong guy out, which would really suck. So, I kind of have to tolerate them until my technical acumen gets a little better. but we all know what that garbage is. So yeah. Hey, Carlo Foresti, I love Italy. My wife and I have been to Italy 3 or 4 times, and I've stayed in castles there in the Tuscany region. Venice, love Venice. When we go to Venice, we stay right in Old Town Venice, and boy, it's something to not see. You obviously being from Italy, you see all the people walking around. You see no cars. It is truly beautiful, and really love it. So. How do I do that? How do I make someone... I'm going to talk to some guys after the live stream, so the next one I'm prepared for all this stuff, so that I really appreciate you guys. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm not on YouTube. I'm using OBS Studio, and I don't think it gives me the same level of functionality that it does if I was right in YouTube. But it allows me, because my internet, by the way, my upload speed is really, really slow. And so I have to stream this at a particular byte rate, and OBS allows me to do things that are just not that easily done on YouTube, that gives me better quality in providing the live stream. So that's why I use OBS. Well, Bitcoin definitely. Is it Mark Timer or Timmer? I think Bitcoin is here to stay. There's no doubt about it. And I'm not one that wants to poo-poo Bitcoin, because I'll tell you what, it started this whole thing. And you got to give credit where credit is due. And it deserves a level of respect. Now, having said that, for utility, right now Bitcoin is being touted. Their main primary utility is being touted as a store of value. But what would happen if Bitcoin got unseated? You have to think about that. If it lost that top spot, market cap, and I've heard people talk about price action because, of course, what was it there? There was a token out there. I think it's FYI or something like that, or whatever, or Yearn Finance or something. Their token was at one time more valuable in terms of dollar per token, but it didn't beat Bitcoin in market cap. So Bitcoin's always been number one up there. Now, if it got unseated, I think you're looking at an extreme vulnerability of it losing its store of value utility. And then I think Bitcoin could be in serious trouble, because think of it like this. Just because you're the one that started it all off does not mean you're going to be always the king of the castle at the end. And you just have to look at Netscape for that one, and stuff like that. Those of us that remember Netscape as a primary and dominant browser. And look at how Yahoo was just decimated by Google. And on and on and on. I mean, you can go down the road. And do you guys remember Alta Vista? Where are they now? Poof, they're gone. Things like that. And look at even go back before the internet and printers, like I was saying in the last live stream about Smith Corona, massive company, did not change, did not do what they needed to do to stay current. And what ended up happening? They're gone. Blockbuster, another one. World's largest video chain. I mean, they had a license to print money, seriously. And they just had no vision for the future. And where are they now? So just because Bitcoin's first mover advantage out there, and yeah, they are due a lot of respect, no doubt about it. But they need to be on their tiptoes, because look, there are other assets that are creeping up that could pump it out of that top spot. And if that happens, that store of value utility, hey, it's up for grabs if you ask me. Now, that's just me. And I agree with that one, Chocolatober. I do not hold USDT in a stable coin. And with this new Stablecoin Transparency Act, where all these stable coins are now going to be required to I guess have audits monthly and then semi-annually some serious audits, I think you're going to find that USDT might be on the wrong end of that legislation. For me, it's Circle and USDC. And I think USDC is going to end up taking quite a lot larger market share than away from USDT in the coming future. That's my thinking. Hey, man, I got to put that out there. I have to put out that disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. And I think it's only fair to say that. Hey, look, I'm not pretending to be something I'm not. And it's just important to know that. Yes, do I have a financial background? I do. 25 years working in the tax department in Canada. Do I understand markets? Do I understand international business corps? Do I understand, now that I've invested in this blockchain space myself? Sure, I do. But I do not hold a Series 65 or a Series 7, and I am not giving financial advice. I'm giving my honest thoughts and opinions. And if they concur with yours, I think that's great. And maybe some people will add to what they already have out there for me. And it's important to know that. And I just don't want to lead anyone down some rosy path and, and make them believe that I'm something that I'm not. I'm a pretty open book. I'm fairly transparent. So of course, some things have to be private, right? I don't, tell you what my bag sizes are and stuff like that. They're up there. But, a few people know, but it's a very, very few. There's literally, I could count on a few fingers here, the people in my life. And some of them are in this chat with me. And those guys, I've built a strong foundation of trust and relationship. And that's why they know. And I know theirs. So it's kind of like, a reciprocal thing. So, yeah. Yep, I do believe that too, Crypto Info. I think all the ISO coins are going to go up. And Quant is such a look. Quant was $41 in June, and we just recently saw it go over 200. Hey man, that's 400% in just a few months in a bear market. Those are some massive gains, I'm telling you what. And I bet there will be some FOMO on Quant this week. Quant is amazing, really. I mean, their overledger technology is not just something comparable to Chainlink. It is way beyond Chainlink. You literally, on Quant, developers can build decentralized finance applications, choose any blockchain they want to distribute it on. Using Overledger's API technology, they can distribute on multiples at the same time. That is the innovation of Quant. So a dApp in and of itself could literally be distributed amongst Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, XDC, even XRP, and on and on and on, and all utilizing the Quant APIs. And that's why they've got the incentive structure with the developers. Developers have to hold Quant. They buy it from the treasury, the Quant treasury, and then Quant converts that fiat into QNT and then puts it in a stake pool for the developers. And they have to have it in order to utilize the system and utilize the technology. So just amazing tokenomics when you think about it. Jake from the state, thank you so much. Hey guys, how long have we been on now? Let me just take a look here and see. Oh, I think we've been on a little bit of a while there, so maybe it's time that we kind of round it up. We've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes, and if there's some pressing questions, some really great questions out there, throw them out. I'll put them out. I'll answer them here, and then maybe we'll just cut it short. Hey, it's Saturday. Come on, we all have groceries. Our wives are probably saying, "Hey, what's going on here? I know you've been stuck on that computer." I don't know what they're saying, but we all have family and that kind of stuff. And I appreciate you being in here. And let me just say, I just want to say thank you. You guys have been just amazing to me, and it's really been humbling because, when I was starting this channel out in June, I remember thinking, oh, it'd be so nice if I could just get 100, even maybe 1,000 subscribers. And then when we hit 5,000, that was such a milestone to me. I wanted to say thank you. By the time from that week to when we scheduled our first live stream, we had 6,000. From that first live stream to now, we're at about 7,500. And I owe it. I really do owe it to this community. You guys have been great. And so, hey, get the word out there. I really do appreciate that. I am shooting to see if, let's grow the channel as big as we can. And remember this, I may be the face out here doing this, but it is a community, and you guys are a big part of it. I love the fact that I look at these comments in the chat, and I see people helping other people, making connections, talking about these various issues. I think that is absolutely fantastic. That's how I feel about it. And the support you guys have been giving me, man, I just, a person... It's not that you need your back scratched. It's not that at all. But we all need those little pumps of encouragement to stay motivated, because sometimes you get up and you think, maybe today. And then I think, no, there's people out there that are looking forward to hearing this. And I want to do something right by them. And so that helps keep me motivated to go out. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how we work as human beings, right? And so I value that so much. And I want to give back. I want you to have it back. And by the way, I want you to know that you guys are actually helping to grow this channel, are helping to help others, because we take the resources that we have from here and we invest it in other folks that have probably little opportunity to see some of those kinds of blessings in life. And we're doing stuff right now. I don't want to, because this is not a platform to kind of like get, those kind of things, charities and stuff like that. But just so you know, it has a big impact, and I value it a lot. So, well, Keela, 12:21 a.m. I sure hope you have a great evening. Thanks for spending your evening, a little bit of it anyway, here with us. I really value that. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great night, man, over there. And I think you said you were in Finland. Is that right? Am I right? And I hope I'm right. But I really enjoyed having you here. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, the time has flown. Well, guys, it sounds like there's no real major questions out there. Just taking a look here. Don't see them. Yeah. Okay. How do I feel about buyback? Okay, we got that. We talked about the buyback of XRP. And I think if they do buy it back, I think that they will buy it back with a strong dollar appreciation. It's not going to be pennies, that's for sure. So, yeah. Yeah, November 21. Yep. I don't know if XRP will jump then, Akila. I really don't know. It might. It might. Verhoofy Fluten, what did you do for a living? Well, I talked about that on this. I used to work as a senior level officer in the tax department in Canada, Canada Revenue Agency. I worked in aggressive tax planning. I worked in special enforcement. I worked in the underground economy. I worked as a resource officer. I worked as a team leader. I worked in trust compliance. I had lots of experience like that. And, I learned a lot. I enjoyed it. You know what? It was one of the best things could ever happen to my life. And I met some amazing people there, people that I still consider friends. And it was a great experience. And I really value it. All of it. And by the way, over 25 years, you're going to love and hate your job, right? But for the most part, I really did love it. It was quite good. And I got to work with a lot of people. So that was amazing. All right, guys. Mike from Ireland. Hey, love Ireland. My son spent 6 months over there, and he ran out of money while he was over there, so he ended up busking. Well, he started to earn a pretty good chunk of change while he was busking on the streets there in the Republic of Ireland. And so ended up happening that a few pub owners saw him busking and said, hey, why don't you come over to the pub? So he went over to the pub and did a few sets at the pubs. And then people in the pub said, hey, will you do my wedding and blah, blah. And by the time it got to the end, when they were starting to say, okay, buddy, you've been here 6 months, it's time to go, he was making some pretty good coin. Probably could have stuck around, but, they said, hey, it's time to move on. So he did so that he could eventually go back. But Ireland, amazing place. You know what? My wife helps me dig up all these articles, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing when you see some of these titles. I get them from all over the place, right? And I filter through about 10 or 12. I'll read them, and then I'll probably pick the ones that I find the most intriguing or interesting or comical or irritating or whatever, and I go with those ones. So, well, you're right. Up there in Canada, it's not the country I grew up in. That is for sure. I grew up in a different Canada than what I experienced as I was leaving. Now, I have met the Prime Minister face to face, so I've literally had person to person interaction with Justin Trudeau. And the guy is extremely charismatic. And he comes off, he's very likable, to be completely honest. But, the truth is I don't hold to a lot of his political views. And that's just that. Now, that is the benefit that we have in a free country, that we don't have to hold the political views. But I kind of was really disappointed with how he handled that whole trucker deal, because my dad was a trucker. And there was not a window smashed, not a lot was, a store was looted, nothing. Yeah, they parked their trucks downtown and they were a nuisance or whatever. But that's what, demonstration is. It's part of our, political process. And at least there should have been dialogue and maybe a sit down at the table with maybe not the Prime Minister, but maybe some of his ministers, junior ministers, deputy ministers could have sat at a table with those folks and ironed it out. But to treat them like criminals and then to criminalize folks that supported them with, a $50 donation. Come on, that was absolutely ridiculous in my view, and too heavy-handed. Now, he backed off from that, but still, it just really left a deep mark. And he is our age, and he knows the country we grew up in, so I don't know what game he's playing, but, who knows? Maybe he's a Klaus Schwab protege. I don't know. But anyway, that's how it is. TNT in the house. Okay, TNT. I don't know what TNT. What? Talk with Tobar. I don't know what you're talking there, but anyhow. Well, guys, I'm going to head her. I want to say thanks. I just want to tell you how valuable you are. This is the whole point of these live streams, is for me to just say thank you. You're so precious to me, and you've really made it amazing for me to do these whole things. And so I just hope you've gotten a lot out of it. I think that what happens with these live streams is, Google kind of encodes them and you'll be able to rewatch it or whatever. I think we had over 130 people live on the last live stream and it got about 2,400 views. So it's there. It's there for to be watched and seen. I leave them up. Hey, I'll stand by what I say, and hey, right or wrong. And by the way, you all have heard me talk about Bitcoin, and I don't think we're going to lose the 17.5. And I had a question. Someone came out. So is a black swan off the table? I'm like, no, black swan's never off the table. Look, I do not believe, for technical reasons, that we're going to lose that structure at 17.5. But if we do, you know what? I'll own it. No problems. I'll own it. But there's a lot of reasons, technical reasons, why I don't think we'll lose it. But if a black swan happens, like, we have a nuclear strike or something over there in the Ukraine, then obviously all bets are off the table and nobody knows where the dust is going to settle. And so, yeah, that's out there. And if that happens, then, hey, we could see some big, shots across the bow of this space. But if it's just strict market structure, I don't think we're going to lose it. That's at least my opinion. And we might come close, but I don't think we're going to lose it. And then I do think we're going to see a big, big bull run, a big, massive push in 23 going into 24 for sure. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. So, all right, guys. I could just go on and on and on because I enjoy you so much, but hey, I gotta, cut it short and just, well, not short. I mean, we've been on here for what, 2.5 hours or something like that, or 2 hours. So, it's been great. And, just keep it going and share it with your friends and family. Tell other folks. And I really do value you. And as I've said so many times, and it can't be said enough, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and take care. All right. Now I'm going to see. I don't even know how to stop this thing. All right, guys. Take care.